According to police in Texarkana, Texas, just after 4 a.m. on the morning of April 2nd, 2019, a man named Everette Cawley ran into the emergency room at St. Michael's Hospital in Texarkana, carrying his 3-year-old daughter, who was unresponsive at the time. While doctors were trying to save little McKinley Cawley, police were talking to Everette, her father, and according to Everette, 2 to 3 days prior to them coming to the hospital, he had got McKinley and her brother back from their mother. They had gone to their mother's for spring break. And Everette was pretty much saying that whatever happened was the result of the mother's actions. Everette Cawley did speak to another police officer, and he told that police officer that he had only had McKinley back at home for 1 day. So there was already a discrepancy in the amount of time that he was saying that they had McKinley back from her mother. According to Everette, he heard choking noises coming from McKinley's bedroom and went in there, tried to induce vomiting, and noticed bruising all over her body. And that's when he decided to bring her into the emergency room. Police went to the home that was in Texarkana, Arkansas, and there they found the stepmother. Her name is McKenna Belcher Cawley. And also in the home were McKinley's little brother, Waylon. McKenna was a stepmother to McKinley and Waylon. And then McKenna and Everette also had another child, a 2-month-old baby named Samantha, that was also in the home. So McKenna gave police permission to search the home, and while they were searching the home, they noticed that McKenna went to change Waylon's diaper, and when she changed Waylon's diaper, he had bruising, extensive bruising on his legs. So the police took pictures of those injuries and took both remaining children into DHS custody. McKenna agreed to go to Bi-State to talk to police. So at this point, police are interviewing McKenna and Everette separately. McKenna starts giving a story very similar to the one that Everette had already given police. The kids came home from their moms. They had bruises on them. But she did tell police that they didn't call 911 or attempt to get McKinley any help until they loaded her in the vehicle and Everette took her to the emergency room, despite McKenna saying that Everette was doing CPR on McKinley. McKinley was taken by helicopter from Texarkana to Arkansas Children's Hospital, and doctors at Arkansas Children's Hospital said it did not look good. According to the doctor, McKinley had massive blunt force trauma and internal injuries. While police were in the home searching, they did find clumps of hair that were mixed up in McKinley's clothing. So they started asking McKenna about this hair because when McKinley was taken to the emergency room, her head was shaved. McKenna did finally admit that she had pulled out clumps of McKinley's hair and that they shaved her head to cover up for the fact that she was missing hair. Everette did tell police that he told McKenna that she couldn't be treating McKinley bad, but that he saw McKenna kick McKinley, push her down, stomp her toe. He said he witnessed her kick her in the stomach. At one point, probably due to injuries, McKinley was refusing to eat, so McKenna forced food in her mouth, and as a reaction, McKinley bit McKenna on the thumbs, and that caused McKenna to flip out and pull out more of McKinley's hair. Just in the few days after McKinley came home from visiting her mother, McKenna did things to her like slam her in the cabinets and then slam her on the floor. She took a slat off of McKinley's bed and beat her with it and kicked her with steel-toed boots. McKinley Cawley did not make it, and both Everette Cawley and McKenna Belcher were arrested. Everette was charged with permitting child abuse and capital murder. McKenna Belcher was charged with capital murder and first-degree domestic battery. So McKenna Belcher eventually pled guilty to her charges and was sentenced to life in prison. She did recently write a letter to the court asking if she had to actually serve life or 25 to 40 years before being eligible for parole. I don't know what the response was on that because she's sentenced to life, not life without. And I think life does have the ability to possibly get paroled. It definitely wasn't a letter like, oh, so sorry for beating that child to death, that helpless child. Everette Cawley took a plea deal and was sentenced to 46 years in the Arkansas Department of Corrections. He will be eligible for parole in 2048. I do want to add that people did actually testify that McKenna told them that Everette told her to stop, but ultimately he was still responsible for protecting his child and he still failed to do that.